How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 2nd of March 2022. So I wanted to do a follow-up video on the Bitcoin video, BNB video that I did yesterday. It was quite lengthy and I was going through quite a lot of stuff. Today's video is going to be quite short, but I want to talk about the Bitcoin weekly chart. And I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on that. And I'm going to bring your attention to something and kind of solidify the idea of why I'm being so cautious. And I really want to just see Bitcoin commit, so I can look at it, have confidence, and then say, yep, that's fine. I've seen enough. And then I'm quite happy to kind of go ahead. But I want to show you visually as well regarding the daily chart and what we see, and then in terms of the weekly chart and what we see. And this is something that I posted in my Discord. So if you're not a part of the Discord, the link is in the description below. Everybody's welcome. And I was explaining this, over in the Discord today, just to really hit home, this idea of kind of just sitting on your hands, being a little bit patient, just letting the market kind of unfold and letting it show you what it wants to do, and not really being in so much of a rush to get the best possible price, because sometimes when you're in a rush, and feeling like you're going to miss out, generally what tends to happen is you'll find if you're patient enough and let the market tell you, what it wants to do, and then it settles, creates a nice steady range, really good structure, really solid structure, the entry that you will inevitably end up getting will be stronger, will last longer, and be more profitable in the long run. So if we go over to the chart, and I'll just start with the daily. If you can see here, when we look at the daily chart, we've had this this nice up move recently, and I explained all of this in the previous video. It looks relatively bullish, right? It looks decent. You can see there's plenty of space above. There's not really much in the way of resistance that's going to stop this if it really wants to break out. And we can see the numbers, and you can say, right, sort of 46,000, 48,000, 50,000. Then they're not numbers that are too far out of reach. Bitcoin's quite volatile, and it does move, to be fair. If it really starts to go, there's no stretch of the imagination to see Bitcoin sitting at 50,000 in the next sort of 2-3 days, for example, if it really wanted to go, right? The problem that I have with this, and I can see this on the daily chart, because the liquidity is the way that it is, the way that it's moving, the structure and so on, and obviously everything that I went through in the video. But I can't visually represent that on the daily chart the way that I want to. So I was sitting there today and I thought, you know what, if I post it in a slightly different way, so I can really make this stand out to explain at least what I'm seeing, then hopefully others will see the same as well. And at least again solidify the ideas as to why I'm being, cautious, kind of taking a step back and just being patient, right? So here's the daily, looks relatively decent, looks relatively bullish. If we go over to the weekly chart though, okay, and we look at it like this, and then we start to mark off our areas of resistance, right? So we've got a liquidity pool up here that price is currently sitting on. Now think about what's just happened. Yeah, we've got the impulse from here all the way up. It starts to pull back. It runs up, creates a new all-time high, pulls back, responds here. Okay, so we get a nice move up. Okay, and then it eventually reverses, breaks the low, so it breaks structure, and then it starts to pull all the way back down into the first initial impulse. Okay, and then it starts to go sideways. All right, so really this downtrend right here is a really deep pullback. For those who like to use the Fibonacci tool, for example, this would be akin to, if you take the bottom of this range to the top of this range, this is almost, what are we talking about, 80, almost 90% pullback, yeah, of the full range. I mean, that's not very healthy, really. So we're pulling really, really deep into the first initial impulse from here to here, and then we're effectively stabilizing here, so we're hitting, a pretty strong resistance area in terms of a liquidity pool. So if it starts to turn now and it reverses this candle, or this, this weekly candle, which is what we're currently on right now, and it starts to, to drop again, doesn't that look like we could potentially, assuming obviously it maintains the downtrend, okay, so from here to here, and starts to drop, doesn't that make more sense? Let's have a look here. We'll just do it like that. Doesn't that make more sense that that is more likely on the weekly, for example, right? So it goes up, it's coming down, really deep retracement. And instead of, and I'll show you this way, instead of, price rallying, pulling back, having another rally now, maybe a small pullback, potential rally, on what looks like a potentially bullish, daily chart, doesn't it make more sense on a much stronger weekly chart that we are, dropping, small rally, dropping, small rally, dropping, small rally, dropping, small rally, dropping. Do you see what I mean? Now, obviously, I'm going all the way down here. I'm not saying price is going to come all the way down here, but I'm just trying to really illustrate that I'm not convinced yet. That's all I'm saying. I am preferring to err on the side of caution rather than getting all excited and saying, I think this one candle is enough for me to say yes, I'm excited on Bitcoin. I'm not saying that this is not the turning point. I'm not saying that this isn't the one. I hope it is. I just want the markets to just get on with it so we can all just get back to business, right? But what I am saying is, does it matter if we wait just another couple of weeks, for example, for price to maybe pull back a little bit, maybe break out, pull back a little bit, maybe break out, create a really nice range, as you guys know what I'm waiting for, stabilize around 50,000. And then we have so much more to work with. We have so much more confirmation. We have so much more strength. We've got completely different structure and so on, and then in terms of weekly, that would have put us much further into weekly, into weekly liquidity, which means that would have been eaten into, would have been absorbed, and we have a much stronger view on what's going on in terms of the much higher timeframes. So I just wanted to kind of revisit and stay on top of Bitcoin because obviously as the market driver or the general market driver in terms of everything that's happening in the cryptocurrency market, I think it's important to stay on top of it, keep a track of the flows, and keep you guys abreast of at least what I'm thinking. I know everybody doesn't subscribe to the way that I think, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have their own opinions and ideas of what Bitcoin is going to do. But I think we can all agree at least that Bitcoin is generally, if it's going up, everything's kind of following along. If it's going down, everything's kind of following along. And however we all track Bitcoin, we all have our own views and opinions. This is the way that I do it. And I feel that it works, for me. And has worked consistently for me. And it's not necessarily about the charts or the liquidity or anything like that. It's just about, I think more importantly, patience and how I approach this more than anything else. Just being patient and really waiting, not worrying too much about missing out, not worrying too much about what's going on around me, just focusing solely on, okay, look, is Bitcoin ready yet? No. Has it done enough to convince me yet? No. Maybe it's done enough to convince other people. That's absolutely fine. But for me, it's not done enough to convince me yet. If it does, great. Then I can jump on board and then I can start to get back to adding to my positions and jumping on some, other stuff. And to give you a really good idea of how super, super patient I am, when I was doing the kind of BNB series and I was talking about waiting for BNB and so on, that's the extent that I will go to. I'm so patient, because I need confirmation. Without it, what's the point? I'm basically gambling. So with that said, guys, I just wanted to kind of do a quick video, just stay on top of Bitcoin, give you a little bit of a different perspective in terms of a higher time frame view. And with that said, I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day wherever you are in the world. I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. All the best. Take care. And remember, guys, stay crypto positive.